Hello and welcome. My name is Ajaxpost and this is 1986. Well, it is in Computer Tycoon at least. We're pretty much where we finished off last year. I tend to do this, don't I? 1 year a game kind of thing, 1 year an episode. And I've gone through my regular routine of just lowering the prices of all my computers. I think I've got too many, to be honest, but they all appear to be selling. Just keeping an eye on these numbers here. Yeah, they're all sort of increasing by some degree or other, which is all rather nice. Even better is out of 5 companies selling in the world at the moment, I've got over 42% of global sales. My factories, you can see at the top right here, are working close to capacity. I have got some headroom there to sell more computers, and I'm making over 110,000 computer technology dollars every day, which is fabulous. Okay, so what have we got coming up this year? I think we're quite close to a new technology, which is a sound blaster, which adds 100 prestige points and 60 feature points to my computers, which is very handy, seeing as at the moment the competitors have all caught up or overtaken what my machines were had as best features. I started off, as you remember, back in the early days, being ahead in performance, not anymore. So we're waiting for that to come through. And one thing to start with, a shout out to a comment on the previous video. Sorry, my tongue is tight. It's summer here in England and we're not used to it, which might explain if you can hear any odd noises in the background. It is still very hot and sticky here, so I've got the windows open and I've got a fan, which I don't think you can hear much of, if at all. But if you do, I do apologise, and I hope you understand that I had to do this, otherwise I'd just be a sweaty, melty mess on the floor, and nobody, nobody wants that. So Alvin Spell commented on the last video that I could actually expand into some of the smaller islands on the map, which is a very good point, because I tend to keep the map zoomed out. I don't notice all these little clusters of islands hanging around in the middle of the big oceans. And as he pointed out, one of them, I think this is it, Fiji, yep, that's a population of 74 million, which is probably more than it is in real life. But there you go. So they might be an easy way to enhance my market share, as it were, especially if none of the other companies are selling into those countries. Now, I've got a small amount of headroom, as I said at the beginning, in my factories, but what I think I'll do is prepare for expanding my market. I'll add a new factory. Where can I do that cheaply? So this is a rich country, Guyana, so factories are quite expensive. There's a 25% uplift, although I get a 20% bonus or discount because I've got a level 2 office. Guyana. Suriname, I'm at level 3. Level 4 would cost 125,000 per day in upkeep, which actually isn't going to be. If I'm going to get a 50, nearly 70% discount on that, I could do that actually, but that gives me a huge amount of extra capacity. I don't really need that at the moment, so let's not do that. Malawi, another rich country. I could upgrade the factory here, but as we noticed, I think in the last episode, upgrading to level 3, I do need to add 3 recreational buildings to the site, which I don't. If I can avoid doing, I'll do. South Korea has no factory at all. Now, although this is going to cost me a bit extra than the 1,000 computer technology dollars per day to upkeep, and it only gives me 15,000. That's a small uplift. That's worth it, I think. Yeah, so we'll build a new factory in South Korea. Okay. How's our research doing? Oh, we're very nearly there. That would be excellent. Computers, everything's still selling. I'm loving this. Yep, that's cool. Right, so we're going to get some research done. And I think I ought to expand. Look, what some of those islands? Which ones can I choose in the Pacific here? Tasmania, of course, is part of Australia, so that doesn't count. New Caledonia, that's
You have researched a new technology.
The research is here, so let's go and deal with that right now. Okay, the Sound Blaster, it's just a new accessory, so I don't need to spend money on sort of building the new hardware component to fit into my computers. So that's fine. What research is coming up after this? Just check on this before we move on. Compositor chips. Oh yes! That's very cheap, only 600, so I should get that quite soon as well. And that gives me graphics cards, I hope, which will be a first. BIOS with jumpers, improving on the motherboard, features, quality, that's excellent. Okay, so what else new do we have? If we go prestige, I think. Plasma displays, that's quite expensive. And there's no other real prestige bonuses coming up. The MCA bus. Right, this is an improvement, the next stage up from the ISA bus, the ISA. Yeah, we could add that to the list. I'll fiddle with this list in a moment. I can, as you can see here, move them up and down in research priority. Graphical interface, no, that's Windows basic. That's too expensive at the moment. 286 co-processors. The 6 mu. I think that's what that means, isn't it? Which is basically a cost-cutting technology, minus 8.4%. That's the build cost. As it says here, we can put more transistors on a wafer, which means we get faster chips or something, which is all good. So we want that at some point, I think. MIDI, we've just done sound, haven't we? So we won't do that just yet. I'm liking the idea of going 286. That's quite a big research leap in terms of the number of points it requires. I've only got 15 research points a day, which actually does rack up quite quickly, to be honest. But you do need to be aware, you need to keep up with the competition. Yeah, we'll stick 286 in there. Okay, so which of these... Actually, no, I think we'll leave them in this order. Actually, that's fine. Okay. So the question then is, do I want to add the Sound Blaster right away? Oh, we might as well. Right, so let's build a new personal computer.
Your building upgrade has completed.
So I've got my new factory. Let's just get out there for a second. As you can see, I've now got 280,000 production points, production power, as opposed to 265. So that's just a nice small uplift. Okay, accessories. There's a Sound Blaster, which gives me lovely features and prestige. PCs, these tend to be gamer machines, so I'm going to make this full of gamer type accessories, which is that. The memory, I've only got one PC memory at the moment. The CPU, likewise. Peripheral media. Actually, we'll get these in latest technology order first. So SCSI, yeah, it's the best, or the latest. We haven't got graphics cards yet because we haven't got any compositor chips, or whatever they were called. Power supply, there we go. Storage, Winchester, motherboard, the latest ISA board, display. We can put things through on our TV, and our latest command line interface operating system. Okay, and we'll call this one Tektron. PC because it's a PC, 86 because it's 86, 1986, and it's the first one I've done. And it's a gamer, I call it Gamer Blast because it's got a Sound Blaster card on it. Let's save that design and let's create the prototype.
Your new computer model went into the testing phase.
Excellent. Right, well, I was looking at islands, wasn't I? So Papua New Guinea, that's 4 million. That's perhaps a bit too many. Certainly not going to Fiji. We can't afford Fiji at the moment anyway. Vanuatu, that might be good. At 1.5 million. Let's try that, shall we? Yes. Is it going to go green? It's gone green, so it's mine. Okay, let's pay attention to some of the other stuff while we're waiting for our computer to be tested. All this yellow stuff. He's my main competitor, that company. Data
You
or
have
systems.
researched a new technology.
Goodness, it's already here. Research. That's where I want to be. That was the... where was it? Let's get these. It wasn't... get that out of the way. That's it. Compositor chips. Right, so I've now got a graphics card. Ooh. Let's build that hardware. I'll clear these so I just see graphics video card. Again, reminder, this is an early access game still. The creation of a single solo developer. So it's obviously clearly an indie game. So there's still one or two sort of issues with it. One or two other things is like this, where it's called graphics or graphics cards in some dialog boxes. Here it's called video card. Whether that's a deliberate thing because of the naming of technology and so on, the way the big computer business works, or it's just one of those things that is so easy to forget when you're doing a big project, so easy to forget little things that you decided on in one part of the project when you're sort of days, weeks down the line doing another little bit of the project, remembering what you did in the first place and using an alternative name. What I tend to do in those sort of situations, in any activity basically, graphics cards, GPU there you see, is I will decide one thing and I'll then say, well no, I'm not doing that, I'll do this. And the trouble is that what I actually remember is the thing I decided not to do, because that was a really conscious big decision. So I said, right, I'm not doing that. And then when I come to do the same sort of thing again later, I remember I decided, oh, that was a thing I decided on, wasn't it? But it was a thing I decided not to do earlier. Do you see what I mean? Because it had sort of precedence in my head. Does that make sense to anybody? Okay, right, we're going to get back on this GPU card. We're going to make it available for home computers and personal computers. We're going to give it a sexy name. The Tektron Video number 1. It's as good a name as any, isn't it? Tell me that. I don't need to increase the features much, but I will. Performance... yeah, I'm not going to make any real dent. This is comparative to my competitors. Yeah, compared to the current opponents. So presumably, yeah, I don't know if they've got graphics cards or not, because I'm 100% ahead there. Right, let's create this so I can put it into my computers. Now the question is what sort of computer do I want to build with the graphics card? One's tended to go PC again, but I'm going to be sort of counterintuitive here and go with the home computer, the office machines. Right, and again, remember, this is the one sort of little glitch we have in the program at the moment in the game, is although I can copy an existing home computer design, I couldn't copy the PC, an old PC design, and sort of fiddle with that to make my new one. You have to, when you're doing a new PC, you have to create the whole thing from scratch, whereas with the home computer, you can copy an existing design, give it a new name, like 86.2. I'll just call it that. Yep. Okay. Oh, but then you need to save it. Come out, go back in, and then this is your new computer, which you can sort of upgrade accordingly with all the new technology that you've just researched and designed. Again, this is one of the other little glitches within the game. It doesn't remember what the actual accessory setting were. It remembers the last settings that you made in the game, but we're going to right, we're not worried about that. Stick a microphone on there as well, actually. Fax, keyboard and printer, because it's an office machine. Yeah, that will do. The memory, again, our best performing memory. It's our oldest. I think that's again a glitch from an earlier version of the game, and that's our best performing CPU. Removable media, again we'll take the latest and greatest, SCSI. Now we've got a graphics card. Now this is the first time I've clicked that box and seen something, so obviously that's going to go in there. Wow, this feels good. Winchester motherboard. It's going to be the latest ISA board, of course. And all these will be the same. Okay, so let's create that prototype.
Your new computer model went into the testing phase.
Has my old computer finished testing yet? No, it's still going through. So let's carry on that thought I was having. Let's see how I compare. I want to get rid of, or take some of Dator Systems' share of these markets. I'm in Turkey. Got a bit of that. Romania. I've got a bit of that. Hungary. I'm not in Hungary at the moment. Now, which of these?
One of your computer models became outdated.
Thank you. If any model that reaches 5 years old is automatically archived and taken off the market. That's the feature of the game mechanic. What's my marketing strategy at the moment? I'm marketing into Romania. That's okay. Turkey's a bigger country though. I might have more success in Turkey, so let's adjust my marketing. I'm going to actually, let's check what Turkey really likes. They like ease of use and features, neither of which I'm terribly hot on, to be honest, but I think we'll go value for money still in Turkey. Yep.
Your new computer model is polished.
Okay, so that's my new PC, should be ready to market. So let's start that, and hopefully that will take some of their share away from in Turkey and give it to me. Okay, new computer. That will be the PC, the Gamer Blast. So what's our feedback on this? Whoa! At last, I've got I've got a marketing edge. I'm now the most prestigious computer on the market. That Sound Blaster does an awful lot of good. Right, so the recommended price is $19.85, but seeing as I've got an edge, I'm going to see if I can sell it for more than that. Let's say 2020. A good old computer name that is. Let's market that. Is it going to sell? It is. Not in huge quantities, but that's okay for the moment.
Your new computer model is polished.
And the other one's ready as well. This is the home computer. For some reason this is more expensive. It's not a market leader, so can I sell it for that much? I won't overprice it if it's not got that that edge over. Ooh, good. Yep, because I don't have any significant advantage in a particular feature set over the competition, my priority really has to be value for money. Price them well, and they will sell. 42% of the marketplace. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Both machines are selling. There we go. Research the jumpers on the BIOS. That will take a little while to come through. Okay, so I'm losing a little bit. Yeah, this is the figures here for demand production and production power. These are all daily figures, so they sort of up and down quite a lot. I still got room there, I think, to go somewhere else. Where else should I? Where am I not in Europe? Hungary, Czech Republic, that's Italy. Yeah, nobody's in Italy. Well, Dator isn't in Italy, so don't worry. I want to take some of their market. That's what I want to do. Ukraine. That's 4 million. I'm not sure I've got capacity for that. Greece. That's... I could. Should we try... Let's try Greece. This is going to be exciting. Where is Greece? So I've not made any headroom there yet. Maybe they're selling on price as well. Maybe that's why they're my biggest competitor so far. Again, if we just look at the stats, which we saw at the end of the last episode, obviously, as you always do, market share, yeah, we can see that I'm well ahead of everybody. The other three, Big, Brutal and IBM, appear to be on a downward slide, certainly making no big progress, but Dator appear to be progressing steadily. So they're my biggest competition. So I want to edge as much of their market space as I can. I'm making no inroads into Greece at all. That's outrageous. Okay, let's move the game on a bit faster. In fact, I'm not selling that much. I'm 41.99%. I'm losing percentage of market share ever so slightly. I'm wondering, can I go somewhere else? Actually, if I look at the prestige again, because I've now got a prestige bonus advantage, that's the word I was looking for, I could look at that again. So Iraq, oh, I'm already in Iraq. Uzbekistan, that's an interesting one. Mozambique, that's a bit big. I'm not too worried about the blue company. Who are the blue company? IBM. Uzbekistan could be good. Oh, look at this, I've got 55 million already, and I started at 30 something when we came in at the beginning of the year, I think, if I'm right. Okay, let's go into Uzbekistan. I'm not competing with Dator there, but really I'm after market share. And I've already got some of that. The thing to remember, of course, is how rich they are. Again, although they're looking for prestige, they're a poor country, so they're not going to be paying prestigious prices necessarily. Which is okay, as long as I'm selling computers and making hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. That is okay by me, to be honest. I've still got 4 logistics points, so I can still go to either one very large country, which I probably can't afford in terms of actual cash, or I can go to 3 or 4 smaller countries. And the smaller countries can be several million still in size. Cuba. Dominican Republic. There's Jamaica. Yeah, that's a poor and very small country. How am I doing in these? I'm making no inroads at all into Hungary, Romania, Turkey. I've made no. This is ridiculous. Am I going to have to cut my prices again? It's easier to see if I just look at home computers and personal computers separately on this list. So, which ones are selling?
You have researched a new technology.
I've got a new technology already. Well, I don't think these two are selling. So let's chop these prices again. Okay, it's a case not of necessarily selling the biggest and the best, but of selling anything. Now let's take that right out to 2100. Certainly while I've got the capacity in my factories to sell, I'm happy to do that. So this 84.4 isn't going at that price even. And nor's that one. Okay, let's be dramatic price cuts. See if that makes any difference. And apparently not. What we could do is archive some of these machines. And that's not that old actually. You see, the oldest and cheapest is still selling quite nicely. These aren't. I guess one of the things we're missing at the moment at this stage of the game is we don't have sort of detailed feedback on what computers are being bought where, by which countries. So that might give you an opportunity to sort of adjust your pricing or marketing strategy accordingly. So you can kind of get away by guesswork, which is what I'm doing here. It would be nice to have real sort of stats on that. Bias with jumpers, This is a new motherboard. It's going to give me a whole new feature set and quality. Oh, I like this. Right, so motherboard. We need to... There we go. Right, so this is my existing motherboard with the ISA bus. Again, it's for both home and personal computers. So let's copy this one. And we'll call it the ISA with jumpers. It kind of makes sense. Okay, now I assume BIOS with jumpers, yes, replaces BIOS. Again, that's one thing that at the moment, because I'm not that familiar with the computer history, difficult to know sometimes what technology replaces others. Again, as the game develops, this should be part of the roadmap. If you want to look that up on Steam, where we get a more elegant sort of research tree, so it's easier perhaps to see which technologies are being replaced directly by old ones. So I need to take BIOS out so I can replace it with BIOS with jumpers. Yeah, you see I get a much better. Take BIOS out. Yep, that's much better than in terms of my comparison with competitors anyway. Okay, we don't need to show outdated technology. Right, so let's create that. And which one should we put it into? Should we put it into... which of these two is selling? They're both selling. The gamer... what's going on here? That's it. I hadn't. I've deselected home computers by mistake, which confused me, so I wasn't seeing them in this list. So which ones? Yeah, the Gamer Blast is selling, but not that much. I think because I've overpriced it a little bit. That's okay. Sure, let's create a brand new PC with all the latest technological gizmos in it. So on the Sound Blast, there's no UPS. Take all the game stick feature things. Okay, the memory will be that, the CPU will be that, the motherboard will be SCSI, the graphics card, at last we'll get one of those, power supply, still using that old one, SCSI Winchester, motherboard, yeah, look at that, feature set, lovely increase in features and quality, that's double, very nearly anyway. Double the quality of the old motherboard, so this should do me well in terms of competition with my annoying competing companies. So we will call this one, if I can type it in straight, Tektron PC 86, third model I produced this year. We'll call this one Gamer Jump because it's got jumpers for BIOS or something. You know, it kind of makes sense, so we'll save that. Let's create
Your new
prototype.
computer model went into the testing phase.
Okay, I was still looking through some of these prices, wasn't I? So if we look at the PCs, how are these selling? This one at the bottom doesn't appear to be selling much. Nope. Let's chop the price on that one again. Is that going to help? It does indeed. Yeah. Oh, at the end of the year already. Good grief, that was quick. Wasn't expecting the year to be over quite so soon. Right, so here we are in 1987. And we're not going to see how well the market responds to my fabulous new jumper blasting gamer PC, and you'll have to wait till the next episode to find that out. Anyway, right, so what we've got so far, we're making good progress, not quite halfway through to the MCA bus, the microchannel architecture. That should be a lovely improvement to my PC, the quality and the feature set in my PCs, which should again give me a lovely boost against my competition. Let's look at the statistics then. So 1986, all the numbers are in. I made nearly 17.5 million computer technology dollars in profit. I need to get There you are. Yeah, so ooh, the best profit I've ever made. The nearest was in 1981, where I really took off in terms of the quality of my my home computers at that stage. Right, yeah, everything is selling quite nicely. Not too much expansion this year, so which is obviously what kept the cost down. My balance has gone up lovely, near more than $51.5 million, which is excellent. Sales, ooh, home computers are still ever so slightly outstripping the PCs, probably because the older machines were home computers, and I've been cost cutting on those more dramatically than I have on the PC, so that probably accounts for that. And we'll see that, but everything is going up, which is good to see. So we look at customers here. Yeah, most of my customers are pretty poor, hence cost cutting does give me a good boost in terms of sales numbers. Oh, and interesting, Pakistan, which I think I bought into last year in 1985, 13 million against Venezuela. Oh, it's twice the size of Venezuela. That's why it's selling more. That kind of makes sense. So Pakistan now is my top sales area, taken over from Venezuela, followed by Sweden. Again, a reasonably new country to my portfolio. That's all very good. Out of all the companies selling, I've got the top two, Pakistan and Venezuela. And I also have Sweden in there as well, in position 4. That's it. I think last year, didn't I? I had 4 in that top 8. That is 8, isn't it? Yeah. That's still pretty good going, and that is a huge chunk of the marketplace. As we can see on the market share, well, at the top it tells me I've pretty much 41% of the global sales, but yeah, look at that. That is a lovely increase in sales last year. Data systems still doing well. Probably about half what I'm selling, but still on an upward trajectory. The others are basically flatlining. Of course, just need to be complacent. Need not to be complacent in case they suddenly steal some sort of technological advantage. But the fact that they're not selling as many should mean they're not making as much money. And if they're not making as much money, their bank balance won't be as good or as healthy, which means they won't be able to invest as much into research and designing new computer technology. That's my hope. Now, the fact that I'm selling so much, which has been the thrust of the last few years, means I should develop enough capital behind me in my bank balance, this big number at the top, 65 million computer technology dollars. If that's so large, I can then branch out into yet another country, build more research labs, and just sort of steal a march on everybody in the computer race. Okay, that's all looking very nice indeed. My preferences, again, I'm not quite sure what to make of all this data, but here you see that most of my customers are looking for ease of use, although features is a big chunk of that as well. But so that's the global market, whereas in mine, yeah, ease of use is still a big player, as is performance, which is my old bonus, my old advantage over the competition. I've got a much more sort of even spread of preferences, because I've been sort of hitting different countries with different needs just to increase my market share without paying too much attention to whether they preferred my particular key feature, which in the old days was performance, or not. Largely because I just want to start making money, as I've said. Anyway, that's all looking very good. Singularity, the final chart here. I'm now 32 years old, and I still have a less than 0.2% chance of dying in game, and game ending thereon in the next year. So everything is looking healthy. So that, I think, is where we'll leave it today. So thank you very much for joining me today. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, do leave us a like. Just click that button. If you have any thoughts, suggestions, recommendations, criticisms even, anything you feel like saying, just drop a note into the comments box below. Be great to hear from you. be awesome, in fact. And if you've not done so already, please do subscribe to the channel, and that way you'll know whenever I upload another one of these or any of my other Let's Play series. But from me, here in Computer Tycoon, I'll say farewell, and I will see you next time. Until then, bye-bye for now.